In this video, we're going to look at installing a new version of NIM. The first thing we're going to do is download the files needed from the NIM client portal. We go to the NIM website and click the login button. From here, we go to Portal, Downloads. Here we can see all of the files required to install a new version of NIM, as well as the latest update for any existing versions. To get started, the first file we need is the NIM virtual machine, which is the .ova file found here. We'll click the download link and we'll start the process. When that download is completed, the second thing we'll need is Oracle VirtualBox. It's found at www.virtualbox.org, and this is a virtualization host created by Oracle that allows us to run our virtual appliance. Once we go to the website, we can click on the download link and choose our application that we're going to run this on. In this case, it's going to be Windows. VirtualBox is downloaded, and we can begin our installation. I'm going to open up the location where I downloaded my files to and start by installing VirtualBox. Here's the file we downloaded from virtualbox.org, and I'm going to double click that and install. It's fine to install with the default settings. It will restart your network interface once it's installed. And I'm going to hit OK. We're going to speed this section up just so we can see the full installation. But the actual installation takes a couple minutes. VirtualBox is complete. And I'm going to go ahead and say OK, start after installation. And I'm going to hit finish. Now that VirtualBox is installed, what I can do is I can install our virtual machine. So I'm going to go File, Import Appliance. And I'm going to select my NIM VM OVA file. I'm going to click Open and hit Next to import the appliance. You'll see the default information enclosed here with some default settings for the virtual machine. And I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark to reinitialize the MAC address of all network cards just to ensure we have a unique number on the host adapter. Now I click Import. Import takes approximately 30 seconds, which we've sped up to see the full progress. Now the first thing we want to do that we have NIM imported is check the settings on the virtual machine. NIM essentially runs as an independent computer on your host machine. So it's going to have its own number of processors, memory, and hard disk space. So we can click the settings button. Now the first thing we want to do is look at our system, and we can see we've dedicated 8 gigs of RAM, as well as 4 processors. Now, depending upon your host machine, you may need to raise or lower this value. We're going to leave ours at 4. The next thing we want to look at is networking. By default, NIM uses a bridged adapter, which means it uses the host machine's network adapter to connect to the internet. Choose the network adapter from the dropdown to select your network card. This machine only has one, so we'll select the Intel card. And we can leave the rest of the information in its default state. The last section we want to look at is using shared folders. Shared folders allows the NIM VM to mount folder locations on your network. We're going to hit the plus sign, and we're going to choose a folder path. From here, I'll choose a network location, and hit OK. I'm going to tell it to auto mount this location so it'll always be available on the NIM VM. I hit OK, and we are ready to go. The first thing we'll do is we're going to hit Start. This will launch the machine in its own console view. Once we are at the NIM login, we'll log in with the default username and password. In this case, the username is NIM and the password is password. So now we are logged in. And what we want to do is we want to run our networking script. This will configure the NIM VM's local network address. The command to configure the network is sudo, sudo, and we're going to type /NIM setup network, and you can hit tab to autocomplete that. When we hit enter, we'll be asked for our root password, which is our default password again, and hit enter. And now we're asked to enter our IP address. If you don't have your current networking information, it can be found on Windows by going to the Start menu, Control Panel, Network Sharing Center. So this is going to be slightly different depending upon your version of Windows. What we're going to do is we're going to click on our local area connection and go to Properties. What we want to look for here is our Internet Protocol version 4 and hit Properties. This is where you can find your information regarding your host machine's networking setup. If you're on DHCP, you may not see information here. So the alternative method is go to a command prompt and type ipconfig/all, and this will print all of your networking information. We want to scroll up until we see our local adapter, and here's our local area connection, and here's our networking information with our current IP address, our subnet mask, our default gateway, as well as our DNS servers. If we are on a Mac and we want to find out what our current network settings are, we can go to the System Preferences, click on Network. From your current network adapter, choose Advanced, and under TCP/IP, we'll see our IP address, subnet mask, and router, which is also our gateway. And under DNS, we could find out our current DNS servers. Much of this information can be replicated to the NIM virtual machine. So the first thing we want to do is ensure that NIM has a unique IP address on your network. This needs to be outside any possible IP address that will be served up by a DHCP server. Here we're going to assign our IP address to be 192.168.1.190, and we're going to hit enter. Our default net mask is 255.255.255.0, and we can see here that matches, so we are good. I'll hit enter to set the default value. Our gateway as well is 192.168.1.254. Many people here will actually have 192.168.1.1, but in our case we're going to use 254. And then as well as default name servers. You'll want to use your own provider's DNS. So here we're going to set 192.168.15.1, and we can add a space and add a second number, 192.168.15.2. I'll hit enter. It's going to show us a recap of the new values we're going to set, and it's going to ask us if we want to replace the previous settings with the current settings. And we're going to say yes by hitting Y and enter. These settings will be applied upon reboot. Do we want to reboot now? And the answer is yes. And hit enter. The system is going to reboot. At this point, our NIM VM is fully configured and ready to be accessed through the browser. I'm going to launch Chrome. Here we're going to launch a new tab, and we're going to access NIM by using the IP address that we configured in the network settings, which is 192.168.1.190. The first thing that we're going to see is that we're presented with a page to upload our license files. You will receive these in an email directly from NIM Labs. The first thing we want to do is take our nim.lic file and upload that to our license file. The second thing we're going to do is take our portal.nim file and upload that to our portal info. We can simply click and drag those over. Once those both say done, we're going to go to our login page, and we're going to log in with the default NIM username and password. To continue, scroll down and click accept on the user license agreement, and we are now in NIM. In upcoming videos, we'll look at adding users as well as configuring your project server. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us at support@nimlabs.com or go to the support forum at support.nim-labs.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.